4 times zoom like the 24-105 starts from the wide to short telephoto, while the 35-150 F2-2.8 shifts the focal length towards the long end. A killer lens for event photographers in my opinion. 150mm at f2.8 is very useful, even if 200 is better. This lens could potentially save some weight and bulk, ending the Trinity monopoly with a more palatable pair of zooms. Let's start with the aperture. It starts at f2, ends at f2.8. It's a variable aperture zoom, however it's very fast. If we extrapolate from the old 35-150 f2.8 to f4, we would have 35-49mm at f2, 50-63mm at f2.2, 64-104mm at f2.5, and this brings back fond memories of the Nikon 105 2.5. And lastly, from 105 through 150mm, you would be at f2.8. It can be argued that this can replace a bag full of primes for portrait photographers. The older 35-150 was not a world-renowned lens. Reportedly, it had autofocus issues. However, this Tamron is coming with a VXD motor, which is their top-of-the-line system for Sony, so it should be a speed demon. The older lens had optical stabilization, however this new one does not and will rely on IBIS. Let's talk about the implications of this lens. If the 35-150mm DSLR variable aperture is too mirrorless, then the 17-35 variable aperture is next. I can imagine a 17-35mm f2-2.8 would be next to go this route. Event photographers using a pair of cameras with a pair of zoom lenses has never been so straightforward. Let's talk about some potential cons of this lens. While this is a fast lens, it is variable aperture, and it may cause some issues for filmmakers, not having a singular aperture through the range when zooming. To avoid the loss of light issue, you would need to adjust your filter, shutter speeds, or simply use f2.8 throughout the range. Filter size looks to be 77mm, so does that mean there is a new era of 77mm filter thread lenses? A potential 17-35mm, would it also have this larger filter thread? Final thoughts? Sony, how about a thank you to Tamron for making things interesting and not laying on your back every time. Maybe this doesn't kill off the 24-70, 70-200 f2.8 era lenses. It brings an out-of-the-box approach to the market. Maybe a new trio is being born in front of our eye. A potential 17-35, this 35-150, and the more recent 150-500. What do you guys think? For me, scheming on how to pay for this lens starts right now.